Well, hello, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I hope that everyone out there is having a great week so far. Laura Torres with Careers, and we're here to talk to you about survey and careers and why this is imperative, super important for those of you who are watching, that you take action and you complete the survey and be the voice to your community. So we have a great panel for you, and let me see. We have a great panel for you. Now, Jessica, who is here, Jessica Strong, our co-director of our research and director of research and survey matters when it comes to Blue Star families, is here with us today. And should I call you Dr. Jessica? And then we also have a couple of our other amazing chapter directors. We have 11 amazing chapter directors, but 2 of them are here today to support us. But without further ado, let me just go straight to Jessica, and then we'll go do our merry-round, all-around introduction. So Jessica, tell us about yourself and your important role in this matter when it comes to our survey.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Laura. I'm Jessica Strong. I'm the co-director of applied research here at Blue Star Families, and my focus is entirely on the military family lifestyle survey. That is the survey that we do every year that's comprehensive and covers so many different facets of military life and how they interact with one another. So I come from a background of social work and Ph.D. in social work, and I'm also a military spouse. So my job career trajectory changed a little bit after a PCS, like so many other military spouses. So I come to this from a personal and professional point of view, and I'm so glad to be here. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. And then we have our first gentleman of Blue Star Families, Mr. Ben, all the way from Chicago. Tell us about yourself, please, and your role that you play in our organization.
Yeah, sure. Laura, thanks for having me on. I'm Ben Gould, Chicago chapter director, and we are the folks on the ground trying to kind of implement and connect our military and veteran families with the resources that Blue Star Families provides to all military and veteran families. And so part of that job is to get as many folks to fill out our military family lifestyle survey every year, which will bring us important data that can help us steer our resources in the right places.
Great, thank you. And then of course we have our First Lady of Jacksonville, which is our amazing director out there, Wendy. So please introduce yourself.
So I am Wendy Layton, and I am the chapter director here in Jacksonville, Florida. Ben stole all of my language. My job is to help connect our military families that are here in the greater Jacksonville area, including Kings Bay, to their resources and to help them feel more connected. And my job is to try to personally touch each and every single person that I encounter.
Great, thank you. Now, for those of you that are watching, and perhaps this is the first time you are just coming aware of the Blue Star Family Survey, or you heard of it, but you haven't quite acted or taken that action to take the survey. Jessica, tell us, what is the survey and why is this imperative for us to perhaps take the next step and actually take it?
So I'm trying to summarize it briefly because it covers so much and it touches so many different places, and it causes so much change in different areas, right? So this is the largest, most comprehensive survey of military families and military family lifestyle of its kind. It's been running for this is our 12th year. We started with about 2,700 respondents in 2009, and this past year we had almost 11,000 respondents. So it's grown to really cover not only active duty families, but also National Guard and Reserve. It covers all of the branches. It covers veterans, veteran spouses, parents, adult children, siblings. Like it wants to get the whole holistic view of military family life. So we want to hear from all the people who are impacted and who are touched by the military lifestyle. So those are all the people who are eligible to take it, and it covers a number of different topics. I'm glad you invited me on Spouse Force, because this year we have a special focus on employment satisfaction and some of the benefits that employers can provide and do provide for military spouses, and how those can help support military spouse employment. we've seen for a long time now that military spouse employment is a really critical issue to families. So this survey is what lets us look at what are the things that make spouse employment harder, what are the barriers that are in place, what are the solutions that you guys prefer, that you guys would like to see, so that we can take those to policymakers and say, it's not just X, it's also X, Y, Z, and F over here. All of these things are impacting spouse employment. It's not just one thing. So we are able to do that because of everyone's voices, because you take the survey.
Yeah.
So that's a brief overview.
No, and I love that you gave us a really comprehensive response. But I also, in a sort of a down-to-earth feedback, I guess I can say it. I always like to claim and say that my job exists because of the Blue Star Families Lifestyle Survey, because of the voices that back in a few years back, spouses were actually sharing their voice, their challenges, the struggles, as well as perhaps, also positive outcomes that were taking place. But most importantly, the challenges that were not quite being looked at in depth. And military spouse employment then started being an area to discuss. And I'm glad that we continue to do that. And this year, I'm really excited for that. That's why, I'd love to be able to share with our community and say it's important for military spouses, for those who, even if you have a job, it's important for you to share your voice, because we want to know how, the impact that military spouse employment is doing out in the field. What are some of those positive things, the outcomes, but yet what is still some of those areas of that still need to be explored, and we still need to advocate and take this data and do that and continue to do more discussion on. Now, I want to put Ben on the spotlight, because I know he's in a really complex area, Chicago. So in your view, Ben, what has been some of the most common challenges, I guess, or benefits also as well for the survey, the data? How is your community being able to utilize it?
Yeah, so we have a vastly kind of diverse population in Chicago. We have a large veteran, Guard, and Reserve population, and then out at Great Lakes Naval Station, a lot of active duty folks. So in my time here, really trying to be able to get feedback and information from those diverse aspects and different lifestyles, and being able to put that together in order to help military families, veteran families in our communities. And like, for instance, we know that our family separation has been one of the biggest issues with military families. And so Facebook donated thousands of Facebook portals to boost our families, and we were able to give out several hundred here in the Chicagoland area. And while it's not perfect in putting families together again, it allows to maybe make that separation just a little bit less difficult.
I know that was a really rewarding activity to do, right? Through our chapters, I know through careers we did a couple of them too. One of my local chapter director here donated some Facebook portals for our program for careers, and we gave them away in such an incredible way to really connect families as you are exploring some of those, like you said, those challenges of separation and deployments and all those trainings that go a long way. But I'm curious in Jacksonville, Wendy, what has been the impact from this survey in your local community? Because I know you also have a really long range that you have to cover in multiple bases as well, and different needs.
Absolutely. And, we actually cover into Kingsland, Georgia, which is the first exit in Georgia where the sub base is located. And while they're close to Jacksonville, they're very isolated. So we do see a significant uptick in spouse unemployment. So it's a big issue. It's critical. They don't feel like they're part of the greater Jacksonville community. So the population of military spouses that are unemployed is very high. And, trying to reach across the entire state. We have the Tampa chapter, of course, but we have over 1.5 million veterans across the state of Florida. And then we have 3 major military installations in Jacksonville alone, and about 150,000 veterans. 1 in every 4 people in this city are connected to a veteran or somebody serving their country. And 10,000 Guard and Reserve across the state. 10,000 Guard. Reserve numbers are a little bit lower, but that's a lot of folks to serve, and then all of their families. So unemployment and underemployment, childcare. Those are some of the issues that I see on a regular basis.
Absolutely, and I think there's many similar communities like that. I mean, obviously, all of our across the U.S., all of our chapters face similar challenges, but also at the same time, they all have their very own unique challenges, their own unique experiences, and so that's what I feel is very important that all of us participate and take that survey. Now, Ms. Jessica, I'm going to put you back on the spot and ask you, what is the goal of the survey this year? Because I know it has like multiple components. You are gathering all kinds of data, so I know this is your jam. This is your subject of discussion, but in a nutshell, tell us, what is the goal this year for the survey? Why is it more important than any other times?
The goal, wow, okay, that's a big thing. So the goal is, the ultimate goal is to inform policy, inform programs, help people who are making decisions about military families and military family lives to make those decisions from the most informed place that they can. So when they're creating policies to support spouse employment, are they doing it in a way that's actually going to help the spouses and remove the barriers that spouses are telling us are happening? So that's, I think, the bottom line of every year of the survey is to inform the people who are making decisions to make the best, most informed decision that they possibly can. Specifically this year, though, we're really looking at employers and those who are employed. How satisfied are you? Because it's not just about getting a job. It's about getting a job that's fulfilling, that meets your career goals, that helps you advance in your vocation if that's something that you would like to do, that gives you purpose and meaning, and that job can support your well-being beyond just bringing in a paycheck. So it's finding what are the things that are working for spouses who are employed, and how can we do more of that?
That's number one right there. I think for our community is, what can we do more? I mean, we have advanced so much already. We have done so much work along with so many other organizations, some other partners, but then COVID took us a little bit of a step back. So we definitely need to advance and continue on to advocate for all of us, because we're all in this together, and use the data that it will make more impact. And so, Ben, on your case for the Chicago area, what are some of those immediate changes that maybe perhaps that you have seen over your time with Blue Star Families and serving that community, the data has helped your local community?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, all families were hit by COVID-19, but military families in particular, especially difficult. Here we were able to provide military families at one of the local schools outside of Great Lakes with a classroom of Chromebooks so they could be connected, and just having to be having to be kind of like a teacher or administrator and working at the same time has made things very, very challenging economically, but also, educationally. And so having to juggle all of those things at the same time has been very challenging for all families, but particularly military families. Absolutely.
As much as I would have loved seeing my kids here at home every day, homeschooling them, right alongside with me, I do see the importance of them being back in the classroom and the camaraderie of all the friends and everybody else. So it is important because, again, that's something that it's something that it will keep us from isolation. And I know military kids, more than ever, sometimes with all the relocation and everything else, experience a whole new wave of challenges as well, and integrating back into communities and things. What about you, Ms. Wendy? What are some of those positives or things that you've seen utilize the data from our survey from previous times that has made an impact in your local community?
I think a lot of the lack of connectedness, and we've seen through this last year that we were able to very quickly pivot to hosting events online. We had the virtual summer camp, which was a huge hit. Kids, obviously in Florida, they had the option. They never had to go into homeschool, but a lot of our families chose, for the safety of themselves and their children, to homeschool. but we found a lot of positive feedback really on families who said they did feel more connected and realized, some of the more important things. And it did make them closer. But then again, back to the unemployment, a lot of spouses left the workforce permanently, or at least, for the foreseeable future. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I feel like with all of our virtual programming that we have at least helped to kind of build a bridge to help people feel a little more connected through our programs and offerings.
Absolutely. And you're right. A great percentage of women went back out of the workplace, and also particularly in our diverse population. Being a woman of Latina population myself, I see a lot of military spouses in a lot of in general communities where it really impacted because of the lack of childcare, the lack of support services, and extended family members in our local communities, not being able to travel, not being able to connect with them. That really impacted the way we did work. We searched for work and we prepared for work. And so that's why it's important for us to really re-engage towards workforce development in a good sense. But first, we have to really share our voice and share our impact. So, Ms. Jessica, anything else that you can tell us a little bit more about the survey? Any more, insight tips that you have that I don't know anything about careers and survey that all of our communities should be able to take advantage and be more aware of, and what this data will do for us in the future?
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to share that I think that I'm excited about and that is unique to this survey is the ability to look at how spousal employment impacts a number of other things. The clearest example that I have is looking at this past year. In 2020, we looked at food insecurity, and we were able to see, like, for spouses who are unemployed, are you more food insecure than spouses who are working and who are employed? So we can see not only are you working or are you not working, not only what is the meaning, the purpose that your employment gives you, but also what are the ongoing effects, what are the secondary and tertiary effects of the issue of spouse employment. So that's one of the things that is really unique to this survey, is we can look at one issue in the context of all these other issues and see how they impact one another. So it's comprehensive. It takes a little bit of time to take it, I'm not going to lie, but it does give us a lot of really good data that we share with decision makers. We brief to Congress, to senators, to people who are to military leadership, people who are making these decisions. So your voice is heard and your voice is translated to those decision makers when you take this survey.
Absolutely. And, and it is important for, again, back to food insecurity, the lack of job satisfaction, and the way you also, shop for a career. It's important because that prolongs the ultimate family wellness overall. It's all connected. And now I know it. And now that I'm in my older years, I know it. It's all connected. But of course, when you are going through the job search and all those things, sometimes you don't think about it. You just want to do the job. But it's all connected. You have to have behind the scenes a good support system, and that goes with being able for us to advocate on your behalf. So I'm going to wrap it up real quick, but I want to put Wendy and Ben to ask them 2 reasons why your community or our community in general should complete the survey in your view. Wendy.
Well, if you don't complete the survey, we won't hear your voice. We won't be able to share your needs and concerns with those leaders that Jessica spoke of. It's important. We need it. This is how we get chapters funded. This is how we keep programming in place for all of our families. So please, 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 I'm begging you, take the survey.
Mr. Ben, for you, your community, or just in general, all of the National Guard and communities that you support.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really their unique opportunity to be able to share how we at Blue Star Families and how military leadership and policymakers and government officials could make changes that will make their lives and other military and veteran families' lives better. So really being able to put their hardships into data that we can use as evidence to make changes and bring to other people with, facts that have the weight of thousands of military families behind it, we know will allow us to help create change that will help them.
Absolutely, and I love that, making change. I love changing, so change is a good thing. So Jessica, it's a good thing. What's anything else to add, call of action for our community, so that we can really go on and complete the survey? It's not just start it, but complete it.
Yes, complete it for sure. And once, if you get it started, you just have to have it completed by June the 6th. We're open until June the 6th. I will say we are a touch behind on Army, Marine Corps, and Air Force voices. The Navy is outpacing us a little bit, and as an Army spouse, and as a researcher who just really wants the data to be representative, I want to make sure those are a little bit more even, but particularly as an Army spouse, if you're Army or Air Force or Marine Corps, we really need your voice right now. National Guard and Reserve as well. We got to have your voices in order to have enough people to report out responsibly while maintaining everybody's privacy.
There you go. So go Navy, go Army, go Marines, go Air Force, go everyone, and just complete the survey. And like Jessica mentioned, it is open through June 2nd, right? June 7th, sorry, June 7th. I knew the 7th over here. But here's the
June 6th.
June 6th, sorry.
June
6th, thank you. Now here is the great part, a good tip. You can start it, create yourself a link on incognito or in a new tab, in a new browser, open it, get it started, take a break, come back, keep going, come back, keep going, or you can just sit down, wake up very early in the morning, take your coffee, and then just complete the whole thing. Depending on your answers and your unique challenges, it's the length of the survey, but
yeah, I'm going to add to that, Laura, as mom of 3 and parent, like pet parent, there's never 10 minutes that I sit uninterrupted. It just doesn't happen. So you just open up a tab on your phone where you're sitting at your kid's band concert or karate practice or in the car line, not while you're driving. But just do a couple of questions, keep the tab open, and return to it later. You don't have to do it all in one sitting.
No, you don't. But if you're an early bird like me on a Saturday morning, just get up very early, take it, read, and really analyze the questions, because, to me in careers is really important, because this will help us. It would help our program. It will help our community continue to create programming, but alongside with many other partners who support military spouses and military spouse employment, it will definitely make a much greater impact for us to be able to move forward, and all of us continue to enjoy a great seat at the table, the workforce development table, so that we can have military spouse employment and continue to advance. So thank you so much, team, for joining me. Thank you, all of you who have been watching and supporting with your comments. And continue to post your questions, please, and like and share, because we will come back. I will come back and answer those and acknowledge that you visited. So thank you so much.
Thank you.